Yep, moments ago, we were looking at what God said, and God came down. Came right down out of heaven to the earth. And in chapter 11 of Genesis, you can see the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of the whole earth, and they stopped building the city. Yeah, they stopped building the city and got scattered all over the earth. Yeah, it says so. I just read it. They stopped building the city. Therefore, its name was called Babel. The city that they were building is called Babel, because there the Lord confused their languages, or their language. They had one language. After that day, they had many languages, and they were scattered all over the earth. Years ago, from right there at that city, God scattered them all over the earth. The face of the whole land. And then you can find out about the records of the 3 sons of Noah. And a child was born to Terah, and his name was Abram. You find this in chapter 11. If you will read, you can see. Now the Lord said to Abram, and don't forget, the Lord is God. That's who the Lord is. Don't get the idea that angel so-and-so is the Lord. Because angel so-and-so is not the Lord. The one who told Noah to build the ark, he's the Lord. He is God. He's the Lord God. And the Lord appeared to Abram and said, to your descendants I will give this land. Can anybody stop him? No. You can't stop the Lord God from doing what he says he will do. It's not going to happen. To your descendants I will give this land. And Abram built an altar to the Lord. Here is an altar to the Lord. And from there, he proceeded from there to the mountain on the east of Bethel and pitched his tent, with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. And there he built an altar to the Lord and called upon the name of the Lord. It's right there. Abram called upon the name of the Lord. And Abram journeyed on, continuing toward the Negev. Now there was a famine in the land. So Abram went down to Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was severe in the land. And it came about when he came near to Egypt that he said to Sarai, his wife, this is what he said. I'm reading. He said to Sarah, his wife, see, now I know that you are a beautiful woman. In other words, Abram recognized beauty, and he had a beautiful wife. He did. And her name was Sarai. Sarai, I believe is the way it's spelled. Yeah. Sarai. And he said, when the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife, and they'll kill me. But they'll let you live. And he said, please say that you are my sister, so that it may go well with me because of you, and that I may live on account of you. And it came about when Abram came into Egypt, the Egyptians saw that she was a beautiful woman. It's amazing, isn't it? It's just right there, chapter 12. And Pharaoh's officials saw her and praised her to Pharaoh. So see, we got Pharaoh. This is the first mention of Pharaoh. Pharaoh is a powerful man. He's king. Kings are powerful men. And Pharaoh has this opportunity. And when Pharaoh's officials saw her and praised her to Pharaoh, and the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. Yeah, that's what the king can do. He can take a woman into his house. If he wants to, he can do it. And he did. And look here. Therefore, he treated Abram well for her sake. Yeah. For her sake, he did. He treated Abram well for her sake and gave him sheep and oxen and donkeys and male and female servants and female donkeys and camels. She must have been a beautiful woman. She must have been. And Abram is being given all these things. But the Lord struck Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of his wife. Yeah, Abram's wife. Trouble's coming. And then Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is this you have done to me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? Pharaoh is not happy. Why did you say she's my sister, so that I took her for my wife? If you take somebody for your wife, do you know what you do with who you've taken to be your wife? Yeah. Pharaoh had taken her for his wife. And why did you say she is my sister, so that I took her for my wife? Now then, here's your wife. Take her and go. Pharaoh commanded the men of his army and said to him, said to them concerning Abram, and they escorted him away with his wife and all that belonged to him. The king gave them an escort, and Abram went up from Egypt to the Negev, he and his wife and all that belonged to him, and Lot with him. And Abram was very rich in livestock and in gold. He went on his journeys as far as Bethel, to the place where his tent had been at the beginning between Bethel and Ai. That's where his altar was made. To the place of the altar which he had made there formerly. For there Abram called on the name of the Lord. Abram was a wise man. He was. He knew whose name to call on. He did. Now Lot, who went with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents. And the land could not sustain them while dwelling together, for their possessions were so great that they were not able to remain together. Things had happened pretty rapidly. They had. Yep. But Abram has no children at this time. I don't believe. There's no mention of one. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abram's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. Now the Canaanite and a bunch of others and the Perizzite were dwelling in the land. The Canaanite and the Perizzite were dwelling then in the land. And Abram said to Lot, please let there be no strife between you and me, nor between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brothers. Is not the whole land before you? Please separate from me. If you go to the left, then I'll go to the right. If you go to the right, then I'll go to the left. Parting of ways. Abram is the older, so Abram has made the decision. And Lot chose for himself all the valley of the Jordan. Lot journeyed eastward. Thus they separated from each other. Abram settled in the land of Canaan, while Lot settled in the cities of the valley and moved his tents as far as Sodom. Now the men of Sodom were wicked exceedingly, and sinners against the Lord. Do you know who the Lord is? Do you know from listening to my videos who the Lord is? The Lord created the heavens and the earth. The Lord instructed Noah to build an ark. And Abram has heard from the Lord and built an altar to the Lord, the God of heaven and earth. And the Lord said to Abram after Lot had separated from him, now lift up your eyes and look from the place where you are, northward and southward and eastward and westward. For all the land which you see, I will give to you and to your descendants forever.